So I got this pen, which is made from a series of cylindrical magnets all held together here. And it's kind of fun to play with because I can open it up and then it snaps itself closed. And there's no pen actually inserted in here now, but I can take it apart at any point and it snaps together just as you would expect a pen to do. But I was playing with it and noticed an interesting little phenomenon that I was curious about. You know, normally when you have segments, they attract if they're the poles are opposite, and if the poles are the same, so if I take this segment and flip it around, it repels, and I can't push these two fragments together, or if I do, they slip off to the side, and they won't go. If I let go of this, it flips itself around. I don't know if you can see how fast that happens, but it flips itself around and attracts, just as you would expect it to do. But if I go to one of these segments that has one of the spacers here, so this spacer here is the one that has the actual holder for the pen, and I take a segment here, and now I'll reverse that segment, and I push it down over this segment, it's still repelling for a period of time. That is, it's hard for me to push these together. But when it gets within about a millimeter, now it attracts, even though it's facing the wrong way. So both of these, I don't know if they're both north and north or south and south, but they repel for a while here. It's pushing against me here and pushing off to the side. But when I get them perfectly aligned and close enough together, then it flips to being attractive. And this is unstable, right? If I push it off to the side a little bit, well, it'll hopefully still sticking there, but it would rather go like that. That's the way it wants to go. This way it's pushing off to the side and repelling, but if I get it all the way in there, I can get it to be perfectly aligned. So I was curious what the magnets look like for this, what the magnetic fields look like for this, and why this sort of switches around to being attractive if slightly unstably so, when that spacer is present, and only when the spacer is present. And I should say, at first I thought maybe it had something to do with the fact that that spacer has a length to it, but if I take one of the spacers that is simpler, and maybe just has a little button on it, which helps with the alignment, this one has the same effect. It's actually a little bit harder to push it together, perhaps, mostly because getting the alignment is wrong. It's harder, but once it's there, it will stay. But again, it is unstable. It won't. I can get it into position, and then it will stay there, but a small perturbation and it flips itself around. The magnets flip. So I can't do it without a spacer, but with a spacer, it works. Curious. I wanted to show how unstable this can be. So here we have magnets, and these two magnets are facing in the opposite direction of the rest of them. So these two are either, at this joint here around this spacer, there's either a north to north or a south to south connection, which you'd normally think is repellent, but these are being held together just fine. But as I said, this is unstable. So if I just nudge this a little bit off center, you're going to see these fly away. Nope, they reversed into a more stable configuration.